Well, good evening and welcome to Hot Topic from the Soul. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. This is your host, Dr. J.R. Thicklin, and I'm so glad that you've joined us this afternoon here on Hot Topic from the Soul. Today, I'm traveling solo as my partner and co-host, Dr. Valerie Parker Hagan, is in flight as she's traveling, returning back to sunny South Florida. But we wanted to go on with our show tonight because we have a very interesting guest, very interesting topic that we have going on. And one of the things that is so good about the show today is because of the fact tonight's show deals with some things that are very pertinent to us. We're in the holiday season and we're at a time that things are really being tried everywhere. As you know, and many of you know, these times can be very trying to people. Holiday times are times that tries people. People go through emotional things. But even more so than that, we all hit rough spots in our lives at times. We go through different patches. We go through different things. There are times we experience things in our lives that takes us to a place that we don't want to ever go again. A place of hopelessness, a place of despair, a place that seems like an abyss. Being in the doldrums, if you would, of pain and despair, being confused, not knowing which way to go. Listen, maybe your life has been perfect and you haven't experienced that. But for those that have experienced that and who could be experiencing that right now, I say to you that, listen, there is a way out. And the reality is that when we go through things, things often have a way of revealing ourselves to ourselves. It has been said, adversity introduces a man or a woman to themselves. And I want you to know that what happens after that is what you do with it. Tonight, we're just very glad to have a very special guest with us tonight, Miss Theresa Michelle. She's coming to us tonight. She's an author. Not only is she an author, but she's an author. She is an artist. She is a businesswoman, and she is on fire inside of some things. She has a story and a testimony that you will find very, very interesting and very, very fulfilling inside of that. Now, I see her there, but I've lost her video in terms of her face there, but she is there, and we're going to give her an opportunity to come back here in just a second as we get ready to bring her on. So as I'm trying to do so, I think she's on a couple of things. So Theresa, as I'm trying to bring you on here, I don't see your video, but you are there. And I want to make sure that inside of this, that we can bring you on. So if you can hear me, if you would sign off and come back on, because I have you more than one time, and as a result of it, we're losing your video inside of that. So if you would sign off and come back on, we'll come back in and we'll introduce you again in this setting. But once again, what a powerful testimony that you'll hear from Theresa in just a second here as we are waiting for her to sign out and come back in. And if she would sign out and come back in, you'll get a chance to hear her. You'll get a chance to experience really a powerful story, a powerful testimony. And then not only a powerful testimony, but you're going to get a chance to hear in just a moment her song. So let me bring her in again, and hopefully we're going to be successful in this here. Okay, let me see. Theresa, I'm trying to bring you on, and you're disappearing, your video. I don't know if you have your anything that's over your camera or whatever, but you're there. Let me try it one more time. We want to add you to the screen, and you're still not there. So as the technical difficulties, I just revealed who's the brain of the operation there with Dr. Val Parker Hagan, because she generally handles that part there. So let's see if we can bring Theresa in now. And let's see. No, Theresa, you're still not there. So what I want to do is this. So Theresa, I'm going to ask you if you could hear me. I'm going to ask you if you could just, if you would simply come out and come back into the studio. If you would exit out and come back into the studio, then we're going to bring you on. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Okay, let's see if we can get, there we go. Welcome. Welcome, Theresa. Can you hear us this night? We're having technical difficulties with Theresa. She's there. We're going to ask her to come back on inside of that. In the meanwhile, as she's coming, I want to share something with you very powerful, because in the midst of her valley experience, in the midst of a time where it looked like life was totally taking her out, she found herself. As a matter of fact, she wrote the book called And Then I Opened My Eyes, which is a memoir of how she was able to finally see God. And she'll be talking about that book tonight as well inside of that. So as she comes back on, I'm going to see if I can bring her back onto the screen. Theresa?
Hello.
Hello. Wow. You're finally there. We can hear you tonight. Welcome to Hot Topics from the Soul. And we're so glad to have you tonight. And there's so much I would like to dive into, but particularly we entitled tonight's show after
Dr. Thicklin?
Yes. Can you hear me? Okay. We're having some technical difficulties there. Okay. Are you hearing me? Okay. We're going to have Theresa to go out and come back in. Is what we're going to do. We're losing her inside of. Can you hear us now? All right, Theresa, are you there? Okay. Well, while she goes out, I want to do this. I want to share this with you because I think it'll bless you. And I'm going to share with you her video, her song that is entitled My Testimony. And this is done along with Kitty London. And you're going to be blessed by this today. So let's see if we can go right to it. Inside of what we have here today. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Who we waiting on, man? Man, who we always waiting on? Lady Mel. Man, what it do? About time, baby. You got the house, bro. Just help, bro. You want to let your house, man.
First of all, I'm a grown man. Second of all, my wife don't dictate where I go. I got that good relationship. I don't really hang out because I'm at work 24/7. Wife done had the baby and been home. But the bills are kicking my butt, man. And the wife stay in church talking about pray about it.
Pray about it.
Pray about it.
You supposed to pray the bills away? Man, you got better luck praying that LeBron James headline come back, man. Look, bro, you want to make some serious money, bro? What you need to do is hit you with the leg, bro.
I ain't even going there, dude. I ain't no angel, bro, but I ain't gonna do it.
Think about it, bro.
I told you he's scared, man.
Think about it.
See, every day we are put through a test. We are tested on our job. We are tested in our relationship. We are tested with our finances. Families are being tested. Marriages are being tested. Your health is being tested. But I'm here today to let you know that God is the best test taker. He will take your test and turn it into your testimony. Won't he do it? My testimony. Now that I'm delivered, I feel like a brand new child. When I think about the pain in my life, it was only you that made me smile. Lord, you never left me lonely. You were always right there by my side. Even when I didn't show you love, yeah. You held me every night. Takes away your fear. Nobody. Nobody. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? This is my testimony. Who made you testify? Who made you change your life? Who made you do what's right? Jesus. In trouble, who gives you peace of mind? Who made you change your ways? Jesus. Who gives you brighter days? Jesus. Who makes you feel brand new? Who will take care of you? I'll tell the world what you've done for me. Your grace and mercy is all I'll ever need. You gave me love and forgive me for all that I've done. So today I'll give life to you like you gave.
It's gonna be okay. She's overall okay. She's doing okay.
He's my joy and soul. My hope for tomorrow. Yeah. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? This is my testimony.
Hey, babe, we got a letter from the doctor.
Probably their bill. I'm so scared to read it. Go ahead.
Hello, Mel and Shirley. Hope you are having brighter days since we last saw each other. If not, I hope this will brighten up your day. My husband and I prayed about this, and since we have been so blessed as a couple, we wanted to pay it forward. Not only are we not billing you for the service, but we have enclosed a check to help you along the way. We know financial issues can cause a strain and test your relationship with God, but now you know you have a testimony. Be blessed, Dr. B.
Wow. Every time I have watched this, I'm so moved by this particular video, this particular song, and everything. And my question to you, and I think we still got music going in the background. My question to you is this: is in what way did this song? What did you feel when you were actually recording this? And I know that it's entitled "My Testimony," and you have your own testimony. But what is it that you feel? It's such a powerful song.
Well, first of all, the song was written for someone else, and someone else did record it and ended up reneging, backing out of the contract. So Kitty was looking for someone to sing the song, and someone told her about me, which she already knew me, so I don't know why she didn't think of me or whatever. I'm not sure why, but the song was, when I heard the song, it was just me having to rush and learn it, to sing it and to get it down. But the more I did it, the more it became my testimony. You know, it became a part of me. So I think that over the time period that I had to study it, and I had to sing, and I had to keep singing over and over, it became my testimony.
Yeah, and it's an amazing thing because at the time this was being sung and recorded, you were in the midst of some very rough throes of your own life. And
Yes.
I know that you know you've been singing for a long time, and singing is a part of your background and everything. But you know, though that song there is titled "My Testimony,"
Mm-hmm.
and as you said, that is someone else's testimony that is being depicted in the video there. But you have your own testimony.
Yes, I do.
You know, you are a survivor of and I'm going to let you tell that story. You're a survivor of cancer. You're a survivor of things, and you have come through many things. And so your own testimony has its own meaning inside of it. And for those that hear you, it's such a powerful, stirring voice that you have inside of that. But that has come, and it's a testament really of your resiliency and the strength that you have found inside of it. So share, for those that may be hearing you for the first time, everything, share just a little bit with the audience your testimony.
Okay, my testimony happened in 2017. I had moved out of my house I was renting because the lease was up, and because I didn't have my children anymore, because one had the oldest daughter had the baby, and my youngest daughter was away at school. So I said, well, let me just go and spend time with my brother. And I was going to Virginia to spend time with my brother. So I went to Virginia, and that place was so different from West Palm Beach. I couldn't find my footing. I couldn't find a job. I was looking and looking. It's more like a factory town than anything. So it was hard for me to find work. And I remember I found work, and I actually worked at McDonald's, people. I worked at McDonald's, and I worked at Target. So that in itself was crazy to me. So I had never been in that arena before. So as I was learning the job at Target, I had to be there at 4:30 in the morning. So this one day I was just feeling kind of like I was just tired. I thought I was just tired, from getting up so early in the morning. And throughout the day, I was just dropping things, like continually dropping things. And I didn't understand what was going on. So it was time to clock out. And it got to the time where I walked to the punch out clock. And I like ran into the wall. Like, I'm like, okay, Theresa, why did you run into the wall? So, I got everything. I got home and I was so sleepy. So I took a nap, and then I got up to go to dinner. And I was feeling really, really lethargic, and I'd never felt that way before. And so I just kept saying, God, I'm tired. Goodness, I'm tired. And so I went back home, and I got in the bed and went to sleep. And the next morning I got up to use the restroom, and I fell out of the bed. So I lost my footing, I thought. And I thought, well, there's something wrong with my nerve or something. I slept on a nerve or something. So I pressed my way to the bathroom, and I used the bathroom, and then I got into the shower. And while I was getting into the shower, it was like I was steady losing the feeling in my right side. So I got into the shower, and I washed myself. And by the time it was time for me to get out of the shower, I had to fall to the floor. So I fell to the floor, and then I crawled to the bed, and I called my mom, and I said, Mom, I think I just had a stroke. And she called my brother, and he called the ambulance. They came and took me to the hospital and confirmed that I had a stroke. Now, I don't know what was going on or why I had the stroke. I think that maybe with all the confusion of being in a new town and somewhere I never, I didn't know anybody really. And my daughter was calling me from her house, and she was complaining and crying, and she didn't want to be where she was. And it was just a lot of stuff going on. So I stayed in the hospital for 4 days, and then I went to rehab. And by that time, I had to go to my daughter's graduation was coming up. So I had just a week, and I said, hey, you guys got a week to do whatever you're going to do, because I got to get out of here. And they were like, what? Like, what? Like, were lost for words. But I just it was like I had faith, but I wasn't really practicing it the way I know when something is going on. I rebuke Satan, and I pray and I do everything. But then it was my turn, and I just didn't want to read the Bible. I felt disgusted because I was in this situation. So I came home, and I got to the I called the car to take me to the airport. I got to the airport, got in a wheelchair, and but before that, I actually answered the door the day before I left. And there was a guy at the door, and I took the apparatus off my foot. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. And as I was coming back, I fell, and I heard something in my foot crack. And I just don't know what, I was just done at that point. And so I went to sleep and got up the next day, got in the cab. My foot was hurting so bad. And I got to my daughter's graduation, and everything went well. And so afterwards, she said, Mom, I think I should take you to the hospital because maybe you broke your foot. And I was like, okay, you can take me. And of course, I broke my foot. So I had this boot on, and I don't know, just everything was going wrong. Everything was just like, I don't know. It's like if you ever thought that you would have like a week from, HE double hockey sticks, that's what I had. And I just really thank God for delivering me. And I thank God for seeing about me, because I was not in the right spirit. So he took care of me through all of that. He took care of me. And I got home. My brother sent me home, and I stayed with my aunt for a while. And I got better, and I moved on to my friend's house, and then I went to my church, and nothing was going right. And but Jesus, he had something set up for me the whole time, and I didn't even know it. And I was at the church, and I would get up, and I would pray, and do things that I thought I should be doing. And when that time came to leave the church, I went and moved with another friend. And while I was there, I got really bad stomach pains, and I didn't know what was going on. So I waited, and I kept trying to use the bathroom or whatever. So it was going on 4 days. And like the fourth day, I went to the hospital, and it was around Thanksgiving, because I went to my sister's house in Port St. Lucie, and I went to that hospital, and he confirmed that there was a nodule or something in my in that area. So I left. I went to the gynecologist. She said, oh, well, we see two masses. And I said, two? Oh my God. So this whole time I was calm. I was okay, And then she told me, she said, well, there's one that's 9 is it centimeters? 9 centimeters. Yeah. And then the other one is like, I don't know, 11 or 12. So, long story short, it was cancer in my ovaries, and the other was scarring from when I had my children. I had 2 C-sections. So, we scheduled that quickly. So December 24th of last year, I had surgery to remove the cancer from my ovaries, or to remove all of my female parts. And to this day, I thank God for taking care of me. He surely took care of me throughout all of that mess. So I just thank God for taking care of me, and for protecting me, and for just doing what he does when we don't even understand, and he just really brought me out of that situation.
Well, Theresa, when you describe it, and having heard you tell your testimony, you went through a very we would call a very tumultuous period of your time of your life. One thing after another, looked like nothing was going right. You talked about the fact you didn't feel like reading the Bible, you didn't feel like doing anything, and there are people that experience that in their life. They experience, so many of them won't talk about it, but they experience these dry seasons of their lives, or they experience these things in their lives where they go off path. It's like, I know that you exist, God, but not now. Not now.
Yeah.
We upset about the way things are going in our lives. We may be disappointed about how things are going, and out of our frustration, we actually take our eyes off God.
Yeah.
Out of our frustration. So when we get into situations, oftentimes it causes us to go into what I call the abyss sometimes of pride, the abyss of shame, the abyss of depression even. And we go through these periods of time. When we're in those type of things, we don't always make the best decisions. And I know that, even in reading your book there, and out of all the things that you've gone through, you wrote a book talking about, and then I opened my eyes. Now that's testimony for many people, if they be honest with themselves, because adversity does introduce us, a man or a woman, to themselves. That when we go through things, and sometimes we go through things, we can go through seasons and seasons of drought, seasons and seasons of even disobedience, seasons and seasons of running from God rather than running to God. And then we have an encounter. Sometimes that encounter is very much like Saul on his way, on the road to Damascus. And God allows something to happen in our lives that knocks us off our beast, or knocks us off our high horse. And it's interesting that Saul went blind afterwards, but in many cases, we're blind the whole time we're in the situation. We're blind to God's will. We're blind to the things that's happened to us. We're blind to the consequences. We're blind to them. But when we have that encounter, after we've run so far, after we have tried to elude God in such a way, after we have put him on the back burner, after we have really literally tried to flee from him, then we open our eyes and finally see God.
Yes.
What was the catalyst for you? When you wrote the book, you said, and then I opened my eyes and I finally saw God. What did you open your eyes from?
Well, I opened my eyes from, I opened my eyes to the point of realizing that no matter where I go or what I do, that God is always there. That he's always there to sustain me. He's always there to take care of me. He's always there in whatever I find myself in. So it's like, as I was going through the trial, I realized that, hey, Theresa, no matter what you go through, God is going to be there. He's always there.
It's an interesting thing because, we talked about the song, My Testimony, but one of your songs earlier that you wrote, and it's such a powerful song, and you talk about Still the Same. Tell us what inspired that song there when we talk about him still being the same, because the fact, we often quote that verse of scripture, God is the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. But do we really internalize it? Because so many times, even being in the church and being in God, we go off on these tangents sometime, and we're running like we're in search of, we're not happy where we are. We're not happy in what we're doing. So we're still searching, trying to find significance inside of it. And yet it's still, as you said, getting off the beaten path, sometimes going astray, sometimes meandering through life, making one bad decision after another. And after all of that, we find ourselves very much like the prodigal son. We return back to God and we find that he is still the same.
Yes.
We find the fact that he didn't leave us, but we left him.
Glory to God.
We find the fact that in the midst of all of that, he is still plenty of mercy. He's plenty of grace. And so now your eyes is open. You wrote a book. You went through periods of time. You went through homelessness. You went through so many different things. What is it that brought you to the place where you really realized that you had to anchor? What was that moment that you realized that, hey, God is here for me and I've got to anchor in him, even in the midst of the greatest trials of your life?
Well, to be perfectly honest, even when I wrote Still the Same in 2007, I think.
Wow.
And I didn't do anything with it for several years. 2009 or 2009, yes, is when I started pushing it and stuff. So that story from that song happened one day. I was at work and a friend of mine called me and he said, "Hey, Theresa, we talked a little bit." He said, "Out of all the people that I've met, all the people that we've been in contact with, whatever," he said, "the only person that has stayed the same and remained the same is God." And I said, "Hold on a minute, Charles." And so I wrote that down. I wrote Still the Same down. And I got back on the phone and we finished talking. And then when I got off the phone with him, I just wrote this song. And I had never written a song. I never thought I could write a song. I didn't have any inkling that I would write a song. So I think even God was with me then, because I talked about all the stuff I couldn't do. Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, and whatever. And God showed himself strong then at that moment in my life. And I wrote a song and recorded it. And the guy that recorded it, his name is Carlo Panisi. And he said, there's very little time that I get moved by a song. And he was from the secular world, and so he said, but this song right here, me and my wife were listening to it and we were sitting there crying. And I just knew that I had a song to market. And so behind that song, wow, I was talking about my inside of me. I was grieving on my marriage and everything that had gone wrong. And I was just telling God, thank you. You're still the same. No matter what I do, no matter where I go, no matter which way I turn, you're still the same. And you're here waiting for me with open arms to come back, And that's basically what the song was about.
That's a very powerful testimony, because we all can attest to the fact that, sometimes when we're going through, people treat us just like that. We're going through.
Yes.
There are people who treat us very seasonally. I call it season. The wind change, they treat us that way. They treat us that way. But it's a beautiful thing that God remains constant. He remains the same in our lives. He doesn't go off on these tantrums.
Hallelujah.
He doesn't. He doesn't get all flimsy with us. He doesn't turn his back and say, "I don't have time to deal with you." Even in the midst of our most vulnerable moments, in the midst of our most trying moments, in the midst of our most challenging moments, he remains the same. And for you, and writing the song, it's like God kept reminding you that I'm here, that I'm still the same. And it's so interesting because the fact, when you have had experiences with people always changing up on you, when you've had experiences of look like constant and consecutive disappointments, letdown, I call people night and day people. You don't know from one moment to the other who they're going to be. When you continuously have those type of experiences, it could cause you to lose faith in people, faith in humanity, faith in things. And it takes God reminding us. And it's interesting that you said you never thought that you could write a song. And basically, you had told yourself, I can't write a song. And what we find out is that whatever we rehearse, whatever we nurture, that's what grows inside of us. Our fears grow inside of us. Our sense of being unable to accomplish, unable to fulfill, unable to, to produce things, it takes a grip on us. But we find a way, as you found a way inside of your music, as you found a way inside of the fact that, being a business owner, have you found a way through your creativity inside of that? And so I want to say this. What would you say to somebody who might be right now in the midst of their storm, in the midst of their valley, for that person that is suffering in silence, for that person who's wearing this great big Kool-Aid smile, but inside they're as fragile as broken china? What would you say to them?
Yes. Well, first I would say talk to someone, speak to someone, because the devil will hang stuff over your head and make you feel guilty and make you feel ashamed and all those things. You have to get out what you're feeling inside. You have to get out. So Satan knows that he does not have any control over you. So that's number one. And number two, just always remember that no matter what you're going through, that God is right there with you. It says he will never leave you nor forsake you. So he is there in the midst, and he'll be right there, and you just have to pray your way out of it. And the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. I was reading that earlier today. And you just have to be effectual and fervent and just tell God about it. And it's instead of telling God about it, you tell your situation about your God, because God already gave us the authority and he gave us the power and the dominion to conquer these things. So you just have to hold on and hang in there and just continually tell those situations about your God and how good your God is, and he will restore. You will be restored, because we have inside of us the same power that raised Jesus from the dead. We have that power inside of us. So you just have to hold in there and just wait until God takes you through trials and tribulations and stuff like that. So until you see the end that you want to see, you just have to hang in there and hold on.
You know, that's great advice. You said something in the very beginning, I think it's so pertinent. You said seek help. You said talk to someone, because the enemy likes to isolate us. And what people have to understand, there's a difference between being isolated in your time of solitude. Two different things.
Yes.
Both of them are being alone, but when you're isolated, that means that to a certain degree that you are being kept outside of the comfort, the words, the encouragement, the support of anybody else. You're being kept from anything that can help you. But when we're in solitude, because you went through your solitude moments, you went through your moments when you really had to dig down deep.
Yeah.
You had to dig down deep and realize that sometimes we have to realize that I'm better than that.
Yes.
I realize that I deserve better than that. I owe it to myself, and sometimes I owe it to my God to be better than where I am. So in our solitude moment, we find peace. In our solitude moment, we find serenity. In our isolation moment, what we find is fear. We find depression. We find this sense of not being able to do things. And so when you talk about seeking out help, we should, because the fact people can go through depression. People can go through anxiety. People can go through all types of things that affects them emotionally, mentally, psychologically, spiritually even. And if they don't find help and refuge and things, they can end up in a situation where literally the enemy destroys them, because that's what he comes to do. Yes. So Theresa, although I have it on the screen, could you tell people how can they reach you? What is your website? What is the information? How can they reach you?
Okay, well, you can go to my website. It's www.IamTheresamichelle.com. And Theresa is spelled Theresa, Michelle, Michelle.com. You can reach me that way. There's a contact page, and there's some pictures and a lot of different things on that website that you could take a look at. And also, I have a phone number to contact me as well, and that's 561-506-0152. I also have some YouTube videos, and you can just find me by putting in Theresa Michelle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so inside of that, when they go to your website, they're able to find you. There's some things there. If they want to book you, you are an artist. You do concerts. You sing. And there may be a little acting down the road for you as well. And from the video I saw, and I think there's a little stage play, or should I say playwright there, and with you and things. And would you describe where you are right now? Do you feel like that you're on the rise, that God has not only restored you? I mean, you are a stroke survivor, you are a cancer survivor, you have survived storms of your life. How would you describe where you see yourself now?
Wow. Well, you said a lot because I've been through a lot, but I don't really think about it as being a lot. I've been divorced. I've gone through that passage. I've gone through um the hurt that comes from divorce after the fact. I've
Absolutely.
gone through my ex-husband, he passed, and I had to go through that grief with my children. I've gone through several other things, being homeless. I can't even tell you guys how I got through that, but only God. I've gone through so many different things. I
Yeah.
can't really say all of them, but I just right now I'm in a good place. It's a place called the Lord's Place. They assisted me in getting an apartment. Because I'm on disability, I don't make enough money to qualify for housing. Or I'd have to get off of disability, and I'm not quite there yet. So I just couldn't find a place to live. I was living with everybody, and I just came to the point where I was going to stay under the tree over at Curry Park by myself. Know how scary I am, and talking about staying in the park. So I've been homeless, and it's so funny how it's like people that do significant things, like they've all been homeless. They've all gone
Right.
through homelessness. I'm like, Lord, what is that about? So I am on the other side of homelessness. I'm back in school.
Praise God.
And yeah, and so God, the Lord's Place really helped me out. They really helped me out, and I know it was because of God looking out for me. So I'm in a really great place. I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm. It's just like nothing has happened. I don't feel the results of my past. I don't feel it. God has graced me with the attitude of getting over things. I don't deal with things too long. I don't hold on to things.
So
So
you're
I
learning the
am.
art of letting it go.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm in a good place right now. I'm in a really good place right now. So
That's awesome. So Theresa, when people go to your website, they can also find they can purchase your book there. Is that right?
yes, you can purchase my book there. And you can
Okay.
also purchase it on Amazon and all digital outlets.
Yeah, so all digital outlets, Amazon, and all those things there. And I just want people to take the time to do that. And I want you to patronize. And the reason I want you to do so because of the fact, listen, you're going to be able to say one day, wow, I knew her then.
It's coming.
Patronize her. Her book is called "And Then I Opened My Eyes," a memoir, how I was able to finally see God. But then not only that, Theresa, inside of some things, you're writing again. You're doing some writing again.
Yes.
There's another book at least inside of you. There are
Yes.
going to be some songs that are coming forth soon enough, and what God is doing now is that He's elevated you. He's called you, if you would. We used to say, to be able to wipe the things from around your eyes, and now being able to see clearly, because it's so easy to walk through life with our eyes wide shut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wide shut.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
can walk through life with our eyes wide shut. And when it's wide shut, that means that's when we're making our own decisions on our own.
Yes.
That's when
Yes.
we become the center of our own lives. That's when we call our own shots. That's when we determine what we're going to do ourselves. And guess what? That's when we find ourselves by ourselves, because when
Yes.
we walk away from God, and when we walk
Yes.
our way, we are walking blindly and our eyes are wide shut. But when we finally hear that voice,
Hallelujah.
we hear that knock on the door of those
Jesus.
experiences of life, calls us to see the fact how big God is and how omnipotent that He is. It will cause us to understand when we humble ourselves before Him, it makes a difference. It does.
Yes.
And for someone who's out there listening right now, who may be watching right now, you're going through. We've already entered what we call the holiday season. And even now, the enemy is trying to use this period of time to make you feel depressed, to make you feel
Yes.
unloved, to make you feel unwanted, to make you feel that you're by yourself, to make you feel that you're not significant. And I'm here to say to you that that is not the case at all. That the reality is that as close as you are, to being able to say, help me, God help me, that will happen in a very moment notice. And the thing about it that I love, people will treat you differently based upon where you are at a certain season.
Yes.
People look at you as if, wow, okay, I can no longer be around you because of what you're going through. But the beautiful thing about God is this. First of all, God is not bougie.
No, he's not bougie.
God is not trying to keep up with the Joneses or the Kardashians. God is not starving to be significant. He's not starving to be accepted. By anyone who doesn't want him. And so when we understand that, in that inside of our lowest moment, and you experience your lowest moment, and guess what? God was still there. When people left, when friends left, when folks that used to think you was all that in a bag of chips, when they were gone, all of a sudden you're no longer a bag of chips, you just pretzel and everything like that. They walk off and do their own thing, but God is still there. And so
he's still there.
One of the things that I find so encouraging about your story is the fact of watching God rebuild, watching God restore.
Yes.
That's a scripture found in Joel that talks about, and he will restore to you the years that the palmer worm, the cankerworm worm, the caterpillar, the locust have stolen. What has been eaten away, what has seemed like it has been taken away from you, that has been exhausted, that you've been robbed of. Not only he's able to restore it, he's able to redeem it. And the thing about it, we have to then be ready to receive what he has. Come out of whatever you're going through being better, not bitter. Even inside of it, if you're broken, and if you're broken, brokenness is not a curse necessarily at all. As a matter of fact, there's a degree of brokenness that we all need in order to see God. David went through his situation. And after all that had happened, and after he had sinned with Bathsheba, after he'd gone through the whole point of getting her husband Uriah killed, after all of those things, and gotten Bathsheba pregnant, after all those things that came, and it was revealed to him by Nathan the prophet of his sin. It was revealed to him. And guess what? It was uncovered. It was revealed to him. Though he knew it, it was revealed to him.
Hallelujah.
Would have to be revealed to us in our spirit. God has to reveal to us what we're going through. He has to reveal to us what we've done. He has to reveal to us our waywardness and all those things. But after he revealed it to David, and David found himself judging himself, he then said, have mercy upon me, O Lord, according to thy loving kindness, according to thy tender mercy. He goes out and tell him, blot out my transgression. But before he could do that, he said, create in me a clean heart, and renew a right spirit within me. Now think about it. But one of my favorite part of the scripture, he goes down a little further, and he says this: cause me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones that thou have broken, that you have broken, may rejoice. Yes. See, for somebody, you're even in your broken period of time right now. You're in your broken period of time, and you're feeling sorry for yourself, but this is not time to feel sorry for yourself. You're in your broken period of time now, that perhaps the consequences of life decisions and choices have caught up with you. But in your brokenness, this is where God can work. Because see, anything that's broken means that it can be repaired.
Yes.
Anything that's broken is meant to be able to be restored and made whole. And then I opened my eyes. Theresa, what a powerful title there. And then I opened my eyes, and I so appreciate you in your obedience to God and what you're doing, and being a mother, and and God is breathing a freshness in your life, and being a mother and a grandmother being an author, being a business owner. I know when you start speaking it out loud, you go, "Did I do that?"
I know. That's why it's like, did I do that? Was that me? Oh my
And
gosh.
so God is doing all that inside of you, and He's not done yet inside of it. So I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you and I want to say to those of you that are catching this, whether live now or you're watching it or someone is sharing, I do invite everyone to share it there. Please share it there. I am TheresaMichelle.com is her website and her web address and everything. And she can be reached there. All our contact information there. Like I said, she is an artist. She is a songster. She's a songwriter. She's a lot of things. And once again, the book is called "And Then I Opened My Eyes." And you can reach her at 561-506-0152. And as always, we're missing our co-host tonight, Dr. Valerie Parker Hagan, as she is on her way back to this great place here. But, we both have our nonprofits and foundation, and you can go to Dr. Val Parker's. They're right at FromTheSoulOfAWoman.com, FromTheSoulOfAWoman.com. That's how you can find her website there. She does a lot of work also dealing with families and people impacted by domestic violence, also creating, if you would, opportunities to give scholarship for women and families that have suffered domestic violence. And then also with my own there, Destiny by Choice, you can find us there, destinybychoice.org. There, where, of course, we're empowering lives and shaping destinies of those impacted by domestic violence, fatherlessness, and other social determinants that impact our community. You can go there. And for those of you that are looking for corporate speaker and trainer and thing, you can go to my other website, jrficklin.com, where we'd love to come in and do some work there that will totally help team build, that would hope do some magnificent things with your staff, with your church, with your school, with your municipality, and those things such as that. But as we get ready to close our time together and everything, Theresa, I want to give you the opportunity to give us some parting words. What would you leave with individuals today that may be listening, who may be watching, maybe somebody's in a situation just like you, just like you were, maybe they're homeless right now and they haven't told anyone, maybe they looked at their homelessness as meaning that they were less than, or they wasn't quite significant, or they wasn't quite adequate enough. What would you say to them?
I would say to them, first of all, the story about David and all the things that he did that was so great. And all the things that he listened to God, he did what God said and all that. And then he slept with Bathsheba and killed her husband, Uriah. And still, yet, God called him a man after his own heart. So you see, there is nothing you can ever do that would turn God away from you. There's nothing that you can do. And so it's like, while you're going through this situation you're in, whatever it may be, just continue to look to God and thank God for it. Because I used to say something like, Lord, whatever you take me through, I'll go through, or something like, I used to say it all the time, and I don't understand why I used to say that, but I would say, make me my testimony, make my testimony great. I thank you for making my testimony great. And see, I didn't even think of that while I was going through what I was going through. But just hold on to God's hand and remember that whatever he takes you through, you'll get through it. And you'll get through it on the other side. Yes.
Well, that's awesome encouragement, son, everyone. Once again, thank you so very much tonight for sharing with us, Theresa. This has been powerful. Listen, I want to encourage you once again to go to her website there. I am TheresaMichelle.com. Her contact information, the book is there. And not only that, other pictures and things that she shares with you inside of that. I want to remind you that, listen, the testimony that you have today was once the trial that you was in yesterday.
Yes.
That which you testify of overcoming and coming through today was once yesterday's trial and tribulation. And so therefore, I say to you that are going through things even right now, that which you're going through right now will be the testimony that you will have tomorrow.
Yes.
So just keep in mind that where God is calling you to is greater than where he's calling you from. And that as you begin to make up in your mind the fact that I don't have to stay where I am, perhaps you will come to a conclusion, and then you can say, and I open my eyes.
Amen.
You know, in the year that King Uzziah died, the writer said, I saw the Lord, and he was high and lifted up.
Yes.
Whatever it is that have to die in your life, wherever it is that may have to die and go, listen, let it go, that you may see the greater and that you may fulfill the purpose in which you're called. Listen,
Yes.
once again, thank you so very much for joining us. Be back next Tuesday, same time. We'll be back with our co-host, Dr. Valerie Parker Hagan and myself. And until next time, this is Dr. J.R. Ficklin saying to you, be blessed. We got Thanksgiving coming next week. As you prepare yourself, get in a thankful
Happy Thanksgiving.
attitude. That's right. Get in a thankful attitude, a thankful way. Every morning, I like sharing thoughts for the days. I like encouraging. And I have something that I said on the day that I want to just rehearse to you now, because I believe that we have to encourage each other. And one of the things I said today was Tenacious Tuesday, a day in which we began with thanks and then shift into action, a day in which you tackle your fears and your doubts by commanding your morning. Command by declaring this is your day of triumph and results. Today you will make strides and you will thrive today.
Yes.
You refuse to allow yourself to be distracted by the negative opinions or actions of others. Today you are declaring greater things for yourself. Decree and declare a productive atmosphere around you. Refuse to allow small thinking people to diminish your shine. Today,
Yes.
You're coming out declaring, I am moving forward, and things and the right people are aligning themselves with me. Today, speak to yourself and declare, I am built to win. Have a tremendous, tenacious Tuesday. Listen, I'm saying to you, your self-talk is so important. What do you say to yourself is important. So man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And I'm saying to you, you are absolutely incredible if you allow the incredibleness that you've been created with to come forth. And until next time, this is Dr. J.R. Ficklin saying once again, thank you, Theresa Michelle, for being with us. Thank you,
You're
everyone.
welcome. Thank you for
Share
having
this
me.
today. God bless you. And until next time, be blessed.